Yeah, see, we have completed 4 classes of database now, or 4 sessions of database. In these 4 sessions, you have got a pretty good idea about what a database is and how the database can be used for storing your values. So the values will enter into your application. The values in your application will be stored into the database. So your application acts like the primary memory and the database acts like the secondary memory. Okay, so this is how it is balanced. So both are needed for the development of an application. While developing an application, you need the database. Otherwise, your values will be lost. So anyway, we are learning database independently now. We are not still integrating application with database. We'll go to that phase very shortly. So when you are learning database now independently, what we are doing is we are typing a lot of queries. And the 2 clients you have used for typing your queries are, one is the SQL Plus client and the other one is the Apex client. 2 clients you have used. So now see, how do you go to SQL client? You know this Windows R, you go to CMD and you will type, I am talking about Oracle here, SQL plus you type and you will get this screen. Here you will type Ravi Oracle and you will give the password Ravi Oracle. So as soon as you do this, you get connected and you type your queries here. All the queries are getting executed. But the problem is, once you close down this window, the queries are lost. But these queries will be required time and again. Means why? To refer. Like first day what query you typed, second day what query you wrote. So you need all this. So that is why what we do, we arrange them. Because see, these queries, they are required for you from the beginning. Means you see, if you are working in the software industry, you will be referring to these queries for nearly 4 to 5 years now. Okay, that crucial queries they are. Initially they look simple, but again when you start revising, you want the query from the very beginning. What was the first query you type? From there you start looking into. So see, here what happens is all these queries, that's why we maintain them so that you can refer back to them whenever you want it. Whenever you want, you can refer back to them. So that is the reason in cluster we follow an approach here. What we do is, okay, so you know, like Windows E you go, so here what happens in D drive, in Eclipse examples or Edit Plus examples, no issue, but I'll go with Eclipse examples. In Eclipse examples, okay, August 2013, your folder is there already, which you have created for what? Java. Okay, in the same folder, see, you have got Java examples. So here we'll create one more folder, new folder called as SQL examples. So it is in this location we are going to save all the we'll type it in Notepad and save all the files here now. Okay, first day what we type, second day what we type, all those things you can save it into what? Notepad, and that means one file you create, day 1 what you type, day 2 what you type, and save it into this particular folder now. I'll clearly show you the location of this folder. Look, actually in this folder now, I'll just Windows R, Notepad. So look at this now. So this will be the location of the folder. In D drive you got Eclipse examples. This is the month. Month means your batch or whatever you have joined. Okay, and then you got your name. Inside this folder what you'll be doing, you'll be having one folder by name SQL / you'll be creating SQL examples. So this will be the location of your folder. So all the things what you're going to type now will be saved there. So even I went on teaching you, and most of you might have observed I was opening all the files from which one? Desktop, SQL documents, Oracle documents or something. So in this folder I am having around 4 folders. The first folder contains what? Some file. Okay, but the extension is what? .sql. Look at the name. What is the name of it? 01 simple Oracle queries. Name can be anything, but the extension is .sql file. Generally when you write queries, we actually save that file as .sql. You'll understand why we do it. So see, Java file will be saved as .java, but when you write a query, that file will be saved as .sql. So we open Notepad. See, you'll be typing it in Notepad only. Once you type it in Notepad, what you do? Save the file as .sql. That's it. See this? I'm opening now. So this was the content of which one? First day queries. Okay. So first day queries, I showed you how to create a table, means how to do the insert operation, how to do the select operation, how to do the update operation. Like this I went on to show you all the queries. Then in the second day I showed you some more simple queries in Oracle. So it's neatly organized. So what I will do now is, see all these 4 folders along with 2 documents. I'll explain what are those 2 documents. I'll cut it, okay, and I'll be putting into this particular folder, new folder which I created just now called as SQL examples. and it is the same folder what we will be giving it to you as a soft copy. It will be kept in the Google Drive, or we will write it in a DVD and give it to you, either option. Okay, so whenever you want to refer now, you can refer to these queries. You can also follow first day what queries I taught you, second day what queries I taught you. You can open up and check out now. I neatly named it 01, 02, 03. So it clearly stands for what? First day, second day, third day, fourth day, like that. You can understand now. Okay, so like this you organize everything. So this you'll be referring, no doubt about this. So this is how you'll organize. Apart from that, there's one document here called as sql.doc. Now what does this sql.doc contain? Okay, so this contains purely which one? Queries or syntaxes and all that. This one document what we are giving it to you. It's a very neatly prepared document which gives you a clear idea about the database. And especially here, this document goes on to explain you more about Oracle. Okay, there is slight difference between Oracle and MySQL, but here we are more focusing on Oracle. So if you want, what you can do is see creating and maintaining tables. Okay, so if you want, you can hold control, press control and bring your mouse here. It will highlight like this. It will bring the hand cursor. Click, it will open up straight away. Understood? So like that means whatever means these are contents. Whichever one you want, you can click. Last class I covered unique constraint. Hold the control, press the control button here, bring the mouse, press, it will give you the description of unique constraint like this. So you can refer to this document also. This is one of the document we will be giving you. And the other document what I am teaching you is this one, database.doc. This also will be given to you, but this doesn't contain much information. It only contains theoretical notes. That contains the queries and syntaxes. This contains only the theoretical notes, like this theory. Okay, that will contain what? The syntaxes, queries and all that it will be containing. So mix and match both and then prepare your own document or notes. It will be ideal. Along with that, my class notes. So you combine all the three and prepare good notes, because this notes what you are going to prepare now, you will be referring it to at least for nearly 5 years, not 1 or 2. So that crucial topics I will be covering now. Okay, so this is how it has been organized. Apart from this kind of an arrangement, means you will be writing your own notes and all that, still you get some doubts in company. So that time how will you solve? So what you do, you can go on to, you are clear with all this now, how will you arrange, how will you use the documents, where will you save your files and all that, fine. Apart from that, when you are working in company, you will get doubts in Oracle or something like that. So what do you do? So you should know how to get online solutions. Online means in Google. Okay, see, everything is available to in Google. You should know only how to use it. In fact, we call it as Googling. Googling means you should know how to type the correct keyword. If you type the correct keyword, you will get the online solution. Simply you type whatever you want, you will not get the solution. So slowly you will get adjusted to these keywords. Okay, so now I'll just show you how to get the which one notes for Oracle and all that. See, go to internet means go to Google. There you go and type SQL tutorial like this. So this is called as Googling. You should know what to type when you want your problem. So when you want a solution for your problem. So type now. So it will open up some websites. Means it will give you a list of some websites. Some of the best websites which I also generally refer are W3 Schools is one of it. Clear? Simple basic learning. See, it gives you a very neat idea. Basics, then intro, syntax, select, like that, where clause, like that. Neatly it goes on to explain you everything. Okay. So slowly we'll see all this. This is one of the website. Now again one more website which we generally refer are tutorials point is good. Open in new tab you can do. Okay, then again one more is there. This is also on beginner-sqltutorial.com. This is also a very good website. So these three you can refer. They are excellent websites. Tutorials point. Okay, W3 Schools, Tutorials point, and the one more is beginner-sqltutorial.com, like this. So these are the three websites which you can refer initially. Later on you will only understand which are the other sites you can refer. Okay, so three basics you can refer. So this much you can this much of things you should know how to refer now, and then continue learning database. Because see, you come from the background of college, and what knowledge you have got in college is over now. Literally it's finished about database. So now we have to move to the industry level, because I always keep telling what knowledge you acquire in college and what is required for the industry, there's a huge gap. The main reason why you are joining course is to bridge the gap only. Okay, because you want to enter the industry and you want to make yourself capable of it, because when they are given a task in the industry, you should know how to deliver it now or perform it. So that's the reason I'm just showing you how to get all these solutions and how you organize yourself. Okay, so till this, are you comfortable now? Fine. So now again I'll go back to our which one? Class. Which one? Now I'll start off the class. In the last session we are discussing about what? Constraints. In the last class we are discussing about constraints. Constraints are nothing but rules or restrictions. So last class we discussed about, there are 6, but we discussed about 4 constraints. Okay, means 4 restrictions or rules which you can apply to a column. So generally when you are preparing tables now, on your columns, when you are creating a tables, on your columns you apply what? Constraints. Constraints means some restrictions or rules. Why do you do that? Reason is very simple. You do not want invalid data to enter into your table. Means you do not want invalid data to be stored. That's it. So that's the reason you go on to set the constraints like this. Understood? Not null is one of the constraint. Unique is one of the constraint. Check is one of the constraint. Default is one of the constraint. So there are rules. So why do you want to apply? Means it's very simple. You don't want invalid data to be stored into your database. So, but you should be an expert, like you should know for which column what type of constraint you will apply. Okay, a database, which an Oracle database is giving you this kind of a support. It doesn't mean that all the constraints you will use for one column also, or one column only will require this particular thing. Depends on the scenario I told you. Like depending on the UI, user interface, you will be setting the constraints now. So I have covered 4 constraints in the last class, and after covering the 4 constraints, these notes also, I think you have written it down. If you have not written it down, the 4 constraints, write it. Okay, so these are the 4 constraints which I covered in the last class. So now the pending 2 constraints are which one? Primary key and foreign key constraint, which we will start off today. Okay, so these 2 constraints are the most important constraints of the database. Okay, so important they are. In fact, people, I don't know how much they understood primary key and foreign key. Time being, you are also in the same boat. Okay, so hardly you think primary key and foreign key are very simple things and neglect this. But this is the main subject of database, okay, and it forms the heart of it. Just look at the way I am emphasizing, okay, it is very, very important. And to understand these 2 topics, minimum days required are 10. Initial introduction will be 4 days. Initial introduction of only primary key and foreign key will be, it will take you 4 days. 6 days, next you will be, actually you will be really understanding what is the advantage of using primary key and foreign key. So that is the intensity of this subject, and that is the depth of this subject. Okay, but today also if I ask you what is primary key and foreign key, I will give a simple one-line definition. But the real advantages I start showing you. So we are going to learn these 2 constraints from purely practical point of view, industry point of view, not theoretical. Theory you know very much, there's nothing to do with it. So practice this a lot, because this is the main subject which will finally enter into Hibernate. Okay, if you want to understand good Hibernate, these 2 things are very, very essential. So that is the link now, it will go. Okay, for if you know database, then you will understand JDBC. If you know JDBC, then you will understand Hibernate. So it's a terrific link. Okay, so practice this now itself, so that in Hibernate you will not have the difficulty. Generally people end up in learning Hibernate directly. They tell, I know database, I learn Hibernate directly. They are wrong. Okay, Hibernate is very simple, provided you know the database properly. So how good you are in database, that better you can understand your Hibernate topic. So that's the reason, pay more attention to which one? These 2 constraints now. Clear? So time being, you can write down these notes for what? I am going on to explain you now what is primary key and foreign key constraint. I'll start off. Today we are going to start off. See, write it down, no problem. I'll just read it out. Okay, you write it down. I'm going to teach you now. Okay, and after teaching it, again I'll come back and explain you the same thing what you have written down. Okay, write it down fast. Fine. The next thing is, see, generally if I ask you what is primary key, everybody tells you the same thing. What? Primary key is nothing but it will have both not null and unique. In fact, not null and unique support has already been given to you. If you want not, see, generally you say what? If I ask you what is primary key, you will tell it's a constraint which gives you what? The support of 2 in 1. That's what you say. Means not null and unique together. Anyway, it is going to give both together, agreed. But for the fact now, the thing is, what exactly happens is, see, already I got the support for not null and unique. Already I got the support for it. Which one? The 2 constraints are there. If I use both the constraints on a single column, I'll get that support. Yes or no? Last class you saw that. Okay, supposingly for employee ID, if I make it as not null and unique, what happens? It will not allow null values also, it will not allow duplicates also. I can use that itself. Why should I go for making it as a primary key. Question is that. Understood? So anyway, apart from that, see, primary key has got one more advantage. What it can do is it can relate to other tables. This is where it starts off, because already it's a very simple question now. When you got the support for not null and unique already, why did they give the support for primary key? This is a simple question now. Understood? If I want not null and unique directly instead of say employee ID, I don't want not null and unique here. I can apply the constraint. Okay. Now primary key is also going to do the same thing. Primary key constraint also will give the same thing. But why to use primary key, or what are the advantages of primary key over not null and unique? So the subject starts here. So this helps to relate with other tables. This constraint helps you to relate with other tables. Okay, and each table, some more points, each table can have only one primary key. There are two types of primary key. One is simple primary key and the other one is composite primary key. I'll be teaching you right now simple primary key, then I'll be moving to composite primary key. So anyway, foreign key also I write down. I'll be explaining you what it is now. Yes. So now let's take one scenario now, and then we'll come to this topic. See, there's an employee now. We want to store the employee details now into the database. See, I started off primary key and foreign key. Okay, but to reach there, we'll go with the problem, and then I'll make you understand what is primary key and foreign key. Employee details can be like this. He can have his employee. These are the following details he can have. Yes, one is he can have personal details, then he can have, I need space, one second. His personal details would be something like this. He'll have first name, then he'll have what? Last name, then he might have date of birth, then he might be working in a department. So these are his personal details. Then he might have something called as phone details. In phone details, following will be the list. He can have one mobile phone 1, he can have another mobile phone, then he can have one office phone, then he can have a residence phone. See, these many details an employee will be having. Okay, still more, he'll have his email details. Again, email details can be what? He can have a personal email ID, he can have a official email ID. Personal means @ Gmail and all that. Official means he'll be working in a company like Infosys, Wipro. So it'll be like Ravi @ gmail.com, Ravi @ wipro.com if I'm working in a company. So one will become personal, other will become official. So then again he might have one more alternate. Like this he might have many email IDs now. Understood? See, one employee goes on to have these many details now. So these are the details of an employee you have to capture now. So yes, we have to design the table now. How will you design the table now? So you got a faint idea about what are tables now. Yes, you got a faint idea about what are the tables. So generally what you do is you end up creating tables now. Are you clear with all this now? First name, last name, date of birth, department. Next one is what? Phone details. Mobile phone 1, mobile phone 2, office, residence. Email details are what? Personal email, official email, alternate email. One more. So how will you create the table now? You tell now. At least draw now. How many columns will be there in your table? How many columns will be there? Will it be there now? I'll make it little simple. I'll remove one email ID. How many columns will be there? How do you count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Correct? Huh? So 10 values are there means you'll have 10 columns. 10 columns means why? To store 10 values of a particular employee. Yes, you're valid. Correct. So let's go on to create it now. So but you'll have one more called as what? ID. So that will be the first one. Employee ID means totally I have 11. 10 values plus this ID, totally you'll have 11 columns. Employee ID, then you'll have what? First name, then you'll have last name, then you'll have date of birth, then you'll have department, continues, then mobile phone 1, mobile phone 2, then you'll have office, then you'll have residence or home you can take, then you'll have what? Email ID, personal, email, then official email. So this will be your table, yes or no? Blindly we want to create a table like this. And after creating a table, next what you'll do? You'll start storing the data, yes or no? See, this is how you do. So what is the data I'll fill now? I'll put some data, test data we call this. Means we actually put some data and check whether, put some data means here only I'll write, I'll not write any query here and all that, just I'll fill the data and see now. Employee ID is 101, first name is AAA, last name is AA, something like that I'm giving. He can have his date of birth, 21/01/2001 or something like that. Department is HR, mobile phone 111, one more mobile phone 1111, office phone 1111, some extra ones I'm giving. Okay, so AA at the rate of personal will be gmail.com, official would be AA at the rate of cluster.com. So like this you'll fill the data. Done now? Excellently you solved the problem. So do you think this is a valid design of the table? Yes, no? Why? So today we are discussing from now, see primary key and foreign key will start off now. Okay, now you tell me, is this a valid good design of the table or what are the problems you are going to face now? If you create a table like this. Huh?
So many rows in a single table.
So many rows, so many columns actually. So why if you have too many columns in your table, any problem is there? Huh? 11 columns is too big. Huh? Give your answers now. Is this a good design of the table or bad design of the table? Why? Justify. You are not able to identify what?
His personal details like email details.
It is here now. I'll write on query. Select email details.
It's better.
Where employee ID is equal to 101.
It's better to create a different table and look.
Now why you want to create another table?
Difficult to insert values.
Difficult to insert values. You don't know how to write a query, simple query. Okay, imagine now according to I'll create 5 tables. You have to write queries for how many tables now? 5 tables. Writing query for 5 tables is good or writing query for 1 table is good? And looking at a data in a single table is good or looking at a table in 5 tables is good? Which one is good now? 1 table is good or 5 tables is good? So I can create 5 tables according to you. Only 2 columns in one table, something like that. Example I am telling. So when I create 5 tables now for 1% data, you have to visit how many tables now? 5 tables. That is better or this is better? In one table only you got all the records. And what will you tell? Good design or bad design? Justify. Simply telling good bad is not the thing here. You told you want multiple tables. Yes or no? Why? Because too many columns you told. Okay, instead of too many columns I'll have too many tables now. Having too many tables is better or having too many columns is better? Imagine you have to refer to 5 tables now. So what will you do? First answer this question, is it a good design or a bad design? And justify it. Why? It can be good or it can be bad. I am not telling no.
Good design but no proper organization.
Then how will you organize? You are saying good design but no proper organization. Now how will you organize them? What more better organization do you need here? Only thing organization means I can do ulta pulta what? First name I'll put last, official email ID I'll put first. More than that, nothing more organization I can do here. So tell now fast.
It creates personal details. In that we have to enter all the phone numbers, and after that we can give link.
Why that? Why you want to create two tables? One table only can capture all the data, no? When one table only can store all the data, why do you want multiple tables? This is not my question, actually it is your question. But ulta you are giving the answer for that. I'll create multiple tables, I'll create multiple tables. My question is coming out very simple and straight now. You have done which one? Database in your college. There you didn't get the answer. Why there were so many tables in your project?
Modification.
What you will modify? Tell. I'll modify and show you now. You are telling modification is easy. What you want to modify? Tell. I'll show you. So fact is, this is the information you have about database. So that's why to make you understand from this level to that level, it requires 10 days. You know, understand why database requires 10 days. You sit in this level. Understood? And you want to work in what? Company. You don't know why many tables are required only. Understood? But when you go to a project, minimum in any project, you'll have around, minimum I'm telling, the smallest project will contain 40 tables. This is minimum. And some big projects you'll see 500 to 1000 tables. This will be the range of tables. And you should know how to work with all the tables. Every data, every column, in which table it is, which place it is, you should know. If you do not have the clear identification of which table is where and which column is in which table and all that, you will fail to run the application. Means you will not be able to write your code for the application. So you should be very accurate in identifying how many columns are there, which table are there and all that. So now this subject you should not learn it by hearted. We should learn it in an analytical way. Okay, what is the best way of creating tables? How do you break the tables into, means why do you break the tables into single table into multiple tables? Okay, and what is the best number of tables you can break now? 1 or 2 or 3 or 4? So this becomes the discussion now. Okay, so anyway, see, having a single table for these many values is bad. Having a single table for these many values is bad. I'll tell you why. Just see now. Okay, it is bad design. So we are forced to go for multiple tables only. Okay, and I will show you how to create multiple tables. But before I proceed to how to create multiple tables, I will be showing you what are the different problems here. One of the problem would be this here. Now this person, okay, one more person is there. Okay, or we'll take the first problem. This person 101, he is having 2 more mobile phones. He is having 2 more mobile phones. What will you do now? Where will you store? How will you store now? You have to add one more column. Okay, this is modification. Understood what is modification? Huh? So you will add 2 more columns. Tomorrow suddenly you feel I don't want one more phone number. You will remove it. Huh? So adding and deleting columns in the database is very dangerous. You should not go on modifying the table always. Because see, in your project you study the table only once. When there are so many tables in your project, you are going to study the table only once. Every time you go on modifying your table, it's very difficult for an application developer to work with that particular table. So right now you are only seeing one table and you are thinking, okay, I'll add one table. Now imagine 50 tables, I'll add some column to one table. What will you do? So these are not a proper solution. Okay. So problems will start like this. So database is becoming a huge subject now. Just see now. Okay. So then here you have to add one column. That is the one solution. Otherwise, I'll not add. Because I told you, table should not be modified. Once you design a table, table should not be modified. So what will you do now? What is the other option now to insert? Create one more? One more table. So now you are seeing now, there are a lot of problems which are coming out. Okay, so fact is you are creating one more table now, which becomes again ridiculous. I mean, they are all wrong. I mean, you are getting wrong answers, fine, you are giving wrong answers, but let's see more problems now. One more option is I can insert otherwise one more row itself here. But the problem is here, this will not be allowed because you cannot enter a null value here. It will be not, because say I have to insert one more employee now with the same name. But here also I have to give a value now. What value will I give? 102 I can't give because he's having ID of 101. So I cannot write 102. Nor can I keep it empty. Why? Not null and unique. Correct? So that is one problem. And more, see here, my intention is to add 2 extra phone numbers, nothing else. He's having 2 more extra phone numbers, I want to add that. This is again redundant data, duplication of data. Understood? If you have duplication of data, tomorrow you want to change his name, update. At how many places you will update? Imagine. So like this problems will start off. Then again you have to write redundant data, same data, HR. Then his other phone number, like here I got 3 1, here I got 4, here I got 5, here I got 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 means one more phone number. One with 3 digits, one with 4 digits, all one belong to 101. Like that I am writing. So again one more phone number. So he's having only 2, but these 2 values what will you do? Leave it empty. So they become what? Null values. Null. Then email nothing. Here also again you have to enter duplicates. Same you have to enter A. So you can see the redundancy. Are you following what is redundant data now? Redundant means duplication. So then this is one problem. Second, see there is one more employee 102, B. He'll have some date of birth 1/1/2005 or something. He is working in a marketing department. All this is fine, but he doesn't have a phone number only. So again you enter what here? If you don't give any value, what will be the value? Null. So like this, duplication of values, null values will start getting stored into your database tables, which is wrong. You should design your tables in such an accurate way that there should be no null values and there should be no duplicate values. That is the way you have to design the tables now. So requirement you understand now? I do not, these are called as something like invalid data. Database treats these 2 values as invalid data. Duplication of code means duplicate values as well as null values. Database considers as what? Invalid data. Understood? So always when you design a table, these 2 things should be avoided at any cost. So you are supposed to design your table in such a way that it will avoid these 2 things. Which are the 2 things you should avoid now? Null values and redundant values or duplicate values. Okay, having duplication is one thing is, see, tomorrow you want to update, you have to update everywhere. That is one problem. Second thing is it's consuming space now. It's consuming space. Space is very crucial. You know today how much money they spend on what? Storage. Understood? So you cannot afford to save what? Duplicate values like this. So anyway, having duplicate values is not a recommended approach. There are many problems if you have duplicates, not 1 or 2. Clear? So we have to solve this particular problem. So right now, to make you clearly understand this problem, I'll not take all the details. I'll only go with today employee details with phone and make you understand the subject. So once you understand what is employee details with phone, other things will be very much similar. So today I'll be concentrating only employee with what? Phone. I'll only solve the problem of employee and phone. Then we'll solve the problem of employee with email, like that. Because again one employee can have many email also, no? So that time you can't go on adding what? One more column. So let us solve today's problem only with what? Employee and phone. That's it. Okay. So to solve that problem, what we do? See, we have to identify actually. Okay, we have to actually identify. What is that you have to identify? Okay. See, generally, when you're going to store details of a particular person like this, there is something we call as relationship. One-to-one relationship and one-to-many relationship. These are the 2 things you have to understand first. It takes a lot of time now. And this comes with experience. You are seeing only one example. You have to see plenty of examples to understand this particular subject. But subject starts off now. One-to-many relation, one-to-many relation. So generally if you notice here, see an employee can have only one first name. Correct? An employee can have what? Only one last name. An employee can have one date of birth. An employee can have one department, like this. So some things only one will be there. So what is, he is going to have only one. That kind of a data, you store it in the same table. What he can have multiple, that data you move to another table. Understood? What is going to, like, he can have many phone numbers. He can have many email ID. So that kind of a thing, what will you do now? You'll move it to some other table. Okay. So why? You'll start understanding now. So whatever is many, what you're going to do? You're going to store the values in another table. Whatever is many. But now identifying is an art. It's not that you'll understand in one day, no. That's why I told you, we are going to do projects and all that. Then you'll understand very clearly this particular subject. So let's see how you solve this now. So shall I clear this? This is a wrong design of the table. You understood there are a lot of problems with this design of the table. So one thing finally understand, when you are working in a project, you will not have a single table, or in the sense your project will not be having a single table, and you will not store the entire data of your project in a single table. You are going to go for multiple tables. So but when you go for multiple tables, on what grounds do you go on to create multiple tables is the discussion. So I am taking the combination of what today? Employee with phone, to make you understand the subject. We'll see these two, then we'll come with other things. Clear? So what I'll do now? Okay, I'll not take more also. I'll just take employee ID, first name, last name, only that much I'll take today. I'll not even take date of birth. We'll bring all this tomorrow in the next class. So next what I'll do is, I'll have a very simple table which will have only what? Means 1 to 1. What is 1 to 1? What we do? We maintain it in a single table. He'll have only one name, first name, he'll have only one last name. Nobody will have to do first name, no. So what is 1 to 1? We'll maintain it in the same table. Fine. Now what is many? For that, see, for this table, I'll make it as employee table. This is the employee table. One more table I'll create now. And the name of this table would be called as phone. 2 tables I'll create. Okay. So here what I'll do, the first column here also will be named as what? Phone underscore ID. Still now they are not related. They are independent tables. Later on I'll explain you why we relate these 2 tables. Employee ID. Okay, fine. So now say there is phone ID and you'll have phone number. A very simple table. So as you said, we'll start creating multiple tables now. So one employee is going to have what now? Many phones. So let's see how it will be stored now. Okay, employee A can have what? 1 phone. Sorry, 3 phones let's take. So his phone number is 111. He'll have another phone ID 1111. Okay, he'll have another phone 1111. So this person is having how many phones now? 3 phones. Okay. Now one more person is there. B. He doesn't have. Okay, he has 2 phones. I'll take. B is having how many phones? 4, 2, 2, 2, 5. Means this is phone ID. 2, 2, 2, 2. So B is having how many phones? 2 phones. Now C here also is one more employee. He doesn't have any phone only. Fine. So this can be the scenario. Means some people will have, some people will not have. We can't predict the number. Okay, he's going to have or not. So we can't predict the number, how many will be there. So that is why the range will be 0 to n. When we talk about 1 to many, no? When we say 1 to many, the range will be what? 0 to n. Some can have, that many can be like this. Either you will have nothing or you will have many things. Okay, but one employee is having what? Many phones. And the range will be 0 to n. One employee will have many phones, but range will be what? How many phones? 0 to n number of phones. So one employee can have many phone. M stands for many. One employee can have many phone. This many can be what? Can be in the range of, many can be in the range of 0 to n. We can't predict the number. Many can be in the range of 0 to n. Many can be in the range of 0 to n. No, we can't predict. So that what is many, we move it to other tables. We have done it perfectly. There is no problem with this. But the problem is which phone number belongs to which employee. That is the confusion. We are able to capture the data, but we are not able to relate the data. We should relate now. Which value belongs to whom now? Yes or no? So how will you relate now? So that is the reason you will add one more column here. Getting it now? You will add one more column called as employee ID. You will not go with name. Okay, you will not go with the name. You will go with the column. Is his ID you will go. Fine. So here what happens? You will start filling. One more column has been added. In this employee ID you will be telling 101, 101, 101. Sorry. Yeah. 102, 102. B is having 2 phone numbers, and which one? A is having 3 phone numbers. C is not having any phone number at all. Perfect. So there is no null value also, there is no duplicate also. We have avoided both. Null value also we have been avoided, and duplicate also we have been has been avoided. But still the two tables are not related. Understood? So we decided to store the data in two tables. Still I have not applied any constraint. Still now I have not applied any constraint. Okay, that is a separate independent table. This is a separate independent table. So until now no constraint has been applied. Okay. So if I want to avoid duplicates here, for this I can apply what? As you know, I can apply which one? Not null and unique. For this column I can apply two constraints. Why? I do not want duplicates there and I don't want null values there. Correct? Now for this table also I'll make it as not null and unique. Correct? Because here also I don't want to duplicate phone ID and I should not have a null value here, because every phone number should have one ID like this. Every phone number should have an ID like this. Fine. So these are two separate tables. They are not related. Everything is fine. Yes or no? And you are accurate now because you added an extra column. How can you identify? It's very clear. This value 111 is belonging to 101. A value of 22242 is a phone number of what? 102 employee, means B employee. Like that you can start relating now. Understood? Fine. But the problem is, see now, here problems will start. So this is not null and unique, agreed. See, this is not null. I'll write it on the top. And it is unique. This is also not null and it is unique. Again, like this you can apply other constraints on what column? First time also you can apply what? Not null and unique, because, sorry, not null, only not null. Don't try, make it unique. Last name, null should be allowed. Some people will not have last name. So like this you should understand now. Yeah. So here also this should be what? Compulsory, it should be not null. Compulsory it should be not null. Why? Or we'll come to this now. We'll see what constraint you'll apply to this. So these are clear, not null. So fine, now see, I'll start. There's now see, in this table there are 3 employees. But look at this phone table now. I'll insert a record now. 6 and the phone number would be something like 999, but it doesn't have an employee ID. Invalid data. Are you saying invalid data now? To whom does this phone number belong now? Data can be stored. I can write a query, insert into what? Insert into phone ID, and I can send a value of 999. Fine. Or one more thing also I can do. 7. Phone number will be something like, I'll make it as one more 999, and I'll give a record like something like 105. Is there a, or 109, something like this. Is there an employee ID called as 109? So record only is not there. So somebody is not there, but you are trying to save his data. Somebody is not there, you are trying to save his data. And one more thing is, you are not giving an employee ID only. Means that is invalid data. So like this, problems will start off. So end of the day, you should see to that invalid data is not going to be stored in your tables now. Invalid data. So that is why what we do, we start relating the tables now. Why we relate is, if at all the data is here, only allow that data to be stored into this particular column. What data is there in that column? No. Only that should be allowed here. Otherwise you should not allow only. Now what's happening? It's allowing 109 now. So I want to relate it in such a way that only if the data is there in that table, which one? Employee table, then only allow whichever data is there, only allow that particular data into this particular table now. That time what will happen? All these problems will not come now. Understood? So that time what will happen? All these problems will not be faced now. So that is what we'll do now. So if you want to relate it like that, that is when you will start using one constraint called as primary key. So I'll use one constraint now. So primary key by default it will make it as what? Not null and unique. By default it will give you that. So you can't insert a duplicate value there. It means it's all by default not null and unique. So you have to provide a value. Apart from that, it should be unique. But more than that, one more thing what it gives you is, it helps you to relate with another table. So what will I do now? I'll create one more table here. I'll create one more column also. And this column, I'll make it as foreign key now. If I make it like this, now these two will be related. They'll be related. That is primary key and this is foreign key. If you do like this, now what happens, when you are inserting a record here, only if the record is there in that table, then only it will allow you. Else it will not allow. So saying to that, at any point of time, invalid data should not be stored now. So that's what we are trying to do. End of the day, why are we taking all these approaches? We do not want invalid data to be stored in our tables, that's all. So when you go on to store the data in a single table, we have all these problems. See, when we go on to store the data in a single table, what is the problem? When you go on to store the data in the single table, what happens? You can't capture excess data. When you go on to store the data in a single table, you can't capture excess data, and you will not know the number of columns to specify. Okay, supposing you specify 4 or 5 phone number columns, some person will not have any phone number only. So you definitely cannot capture all the data in a single table, because the range will be what? 0 to n now. So some might have, some might not have, some might have excess. Okay, so when you don't have any number, it will become null. So then when you are having many number, you can't capture the data. So like this, problems will start if you store it in a single table. That is why you decided to store it in multiple tables like this. When you decided to store it in multiple tables like this, fine, you went on storing. But the problem was, if you don't relate the two tables, what is the problem now? Invalid data will start entering here also. So like that you start understanding. Clear with this? If you don't have multiple tables, means you have to go for multiple tables. After going for multiple tables, you have to relate both the tables. Else, you are understanding what is invalid data. Some value is only not there. You are storing it here. Then what? 109 is not there. You are still storing that particular data in this particular table. So like this, invalid data will start entering into your tables now. To restrict it, I'll use two constraints now. Which are they? Primary key and foreign key. So there I'll make primary key, here I'll make foreign key. Once you make primary key and foreign key, they'll get related. These two will be related now. So once they are related, when you're inserting a record here now, this is the concept. How to do it, we'll see it now. See, understand the concept first. These are concepts. What I'm teaching is a concept. Okay, how to do it, that is next. So once we relate these two tables, when you're inserting a record here, the DBMS, database management system, will check, is there a record there? If it is there, only that data will be allowed here. If it is not there, it will not execute the query only. It fails to execute. If you have applied a foreign key constraint. So this is the concept now. Are you clear with this? Are you clear with this? So shall we design the table and see now? I'll be going with only what? Employee and phone now. So we'll go with the same table. Okay, shall I clear all this now? I'll write it on the top. Okay. And now there are plenty of advantages if you do this. It looks very simple now, but later on you'll start understanding the benefits of doing all this. This is just a simple introduction of what? Primary key and foreign key. And one more thing, see, I created the foreign key. It was in the third column now. First column was what? Phone ID. Second column was phone number. Third column was employee ID. The foreign key can be any column. It can be the second column, or generally the convention what we follow is it will be the second column. Generally convention. Okay, like see this. So these are the two tables I'll create now. Just notice. So one would be the phone table. First I'll take employee. See, you understood the concept now? What is the concept? I want two separate tables so that I can capture all the data. Single table cannot capture all the data. So I'm going for two tables. So once I go for two tables to capture all the data, I have to relate the tables in such a way that in phone table, invalid data should not be entered. So this is how I have to design it. Let's see how the DBMS gives you the support now. Relational Database Management System. So employee will be there. He'll have employee ID. Same tables. I'm going to do it now. First name, then last name, is one table. One more table what you're going to have is phone ID, employee ID, and one more would be phone number. Is it visible now? phone number. So you can keep it here. When I drew here, I kept the employee in the last, but generally the convention is second we keep. Convention, that's it. You can keep it any place. So I'll create this table now and I'll show you how to do it now. So it's all about writing your queries now. So now we are more focusing on which queries? DDL queries. First learn to create the tables properly. Till now blindly you are creating a single table. Nobody will create a single table, and you are good in creating a single table now. You know how to write it. So let's start practicing how to create multiple tables and why do you create multiple tables. So this is the beginning now. So to create multiple tables, what you can do is you can use your Apex. So let's start working. You can use Apex now. You can. That's also one more client now where you can type. So http:// Apex. Yes, you can log in. I'm working on which table? Ravi and Oracle schema. I'll be logging in here. Go to object browser, browse tables. Do one thing, delete all these tables which are created in the last class. Okay, so you know how to delete it now. Drop, finish, because on table is already there, so drop all this. So right now there are no tables in our schema. Yeah, so in this schema I'll start creating now. You can open up one more browser. Means click Control, okay, and bring your mouse here. Click here. It will open it in the next tab. One more tab it will open. So you know you can open your editor now. Which one? SQL editor. SQL commands. Enter command. You'll get the screen now. So you know how to create your table now. So right, I'll start typing now. Create. Caps lock on. Create table, employee. See, you know the syntax of creating the table. Create table employee, you know what is the syntax. Generally, you can write it in a single line. Create table employee in a big line you can write. But that's not the convention, because if you write it like this, it becomes very easy for you to write the queries. So practice like this itself. Otherwise, you'll end up making mistakes. So what will be the name of the first column generally? The name of the table underscore ID. The first column will be, for any table you take, the name of the column underscore ID will be the first name of the column. Data type will be what? Number. Size you can give 5. Okay. And here only you can type your constraint, primary key. You can type like this. Understood? Primary key you can type. Next, what is the next column? What is the next column? First name. Look there on the table. I've written it for you. First name. Data type what? Varchar 2. Size I'll take 30. The next table, sorry, next column, what is it? Last name. Fine, done. So your table, if you execute now, it will get created. So I'm creating the constraint here itself. Notice, but you know, if I create a table like this, you know what is the problem? What is the problem? If I see, refresh here, table has been created, fine. See, the table has got created. The problem is, if you create a constraint like that, it will generate its own unique name. Last class which I showed you. So every constraint, generally what we do, we always create it by altering the table. Because see, tomorrow I want to remove the constraint on this particular column now. I have applied a constraint on which column here? See, this is the query. I applied the constraint on the employee ID. Tomorrow by chance, if you want to remove, okay, so how will you do now? So you have to drop the entire table or you have to drop the entire column. Something like that you have to do. But when you drop it, what happens? Data is lost. That is why we do not take this approach. So always what we do, see, this is the next way how you write the query now. See, today I am showing you how to write the queries. I'll type full today. Practice. This is the way you have to type. Create table employee. See, I'll remove the primary key. Constraint here. I'm deleting. So next what will I do? After deleting it, you know why I'm taking this approach now? Because you have to decouple the creation of constraint from the table creation. Table creation and constraint creation should be separated. That is a separate DB object, this is a separate DB object. So when you are creating, separate the constraint creation and the table creation. Now I will separate it here. See, alter table, you know how to alter the table now, tell. Add what? Next what? Alter table, employee, sorry, which table you want to alter? EMPLOYEE, alter table employee, one second. Add constraint. What is the constraint name? You know syntax for writing a constraint. What is the constraint syntax? Alter. I am writing a syntax here. Okay, table name. And this syntax and all you can refer in what? The document I showed you now, there you will find it. So add. So then next what will you do? Constraint. This is a syntax. Then you can give constraint name. Constraint underscore name you can give. Then you will write what? Type of constraint, whether it is primary key, foreign key, or not null, unique, whatever it is. Then next you will write what? On which column? Okay, so column will be written in bracket. I will be writing it as, sorry, column name, syntax, no? So this is the syntax. Are you clear? The syntax: alter table, table name, add constraint, constraint underscore name, type of constraint, and on which column. This is the syntax. Looking at the syntax, you tell me now. So you have to give a name now. So the convention again for this we follow is, see, for not null I was saying NN, for unique I used UQ, for primary key we say PK. So the name of the constraint will only tell you what type of a constraint it is, and it will be applied on what? Which table, which column, like that you have to create. Employee ID now. So you are creating on what? Employee table. In employee table it will be for what? ID column. In employee table it's very clear now, because every table first column name will be what? Underscore ID. So it's very clear. No other table will have the column name as what? Employee. That's why I follow conventions. The first column name should always be what? Table name underscore ID. Understood? So you'll find a lot of benefits of doing this. Employee underscore ID. Then next, what is the type of constraint? Primary key, correct? That's the constraint. On which column? Employee ID. Done. So this is done now. So now I'll execute. But to execute, already table has been created. So what you should do now? Drop. So first you write one more query now. So like this, you have to go on writing queries now. Drop table employee. Think logically and do it. Simply don't type of all the queries and execute. Step by step think and do. So run. So table is dropped. See the message bottom? Drop table employee. Invalid character. I think space is there, that's why. Your table dropped. See, one space I had selected here. It was not executing. So be careful. One space character also. One space was there. I was selecting that. It was not executing. Fine. Anyway, table has been dropped. Next, what will I do? And you can go and see now in the browser. Refresh. Table is not there. Clear? Now again, I will go and run the query. It will be created. But this time it will be created what? Without constraint. Just go and check. Object browser. Refresh. Employee table has been created. Check the constraints. This table has not any constraints. So what will I do now? Again, I will alter the table and add the constraint. Here run. It is executed, and now you can go and check. Refresh. So now again go and check constraints. You can see the constraint has been created. Earlier what was the name? Sys underscore something. Now if I want to drop, it's very easy now. How do you drop the constraint? Drop constraint, constraint name. Yes or no? Yes or no? Drop constraint pk underscore employee underscore ID. Drop directly, no? Alter table, sorry. No. For dropping the constraint. Yeah, alter table, correct. So I know it. So anyway, like this you'll go on typing the queries. The advantage is what if you write the queries like this? The advantage of writing a query like this is means if you have to separate the creation of table from creation of constraint, because if you want you can retain the constraint, or if you don't want you can delete the constraint. You know the syntax for deleting it, you can write that constraint will be deleted. Clear? This is one way. So all this is fine, whatever you are doing is correct now, but the problem is these queries, see I'll write it now, I'll close the browser, again the queries are lost now. So what should you do now? Save it. Always you should save your queries. This is what has happened till now for you. The 4 days, what has happened? You'll type your query. When you close the browser, the queries are gone. Okay. So today, see anyway, especially I'll be showing you how to write script files. This is a very important concept now. Parallelly, we are learning one more thing. I'll show you how to write a script file now. DB script file we say. Database script file. Generally, all the DDL queries will be written in scripts. DDL means creating, altering table and all that will be written in scripts. Okay, why means, see today you are working in this computer. Tomorrow I'll go to another computer. Again you have to create all the tables and work now. How big headache it is. Because see, you want to work on the tables, but every computer you go newly now, you can't go on what? Creating the tables newly. So that's the reason. Anyway, we'll see all the advantages later. So first today I'll be teaching you how to write a script file. So even though you can execute everything from here, don't do it. So today we'll type everything in Notepad. Purely in Notepad I'll type. Okay, see this, and then I'll execute my queries. Okay, so what I'll do, see anyway this is okay now, leave it, or I'll delete all this, or leave it, let it remain, no issue. Okay, let it remain, or okay, see this, I'll open a notepad now. You know how to open a notepad now? You open a notepad, or I'll clear it off only, 1 second. I'll close off this browser only. Which one? Only the object browser I'll retain. So editor is gone now. So whatever I'm going to type, where will I type now? In Notepad. See what will I do now? A very important subject. Slowly you'll get the grip of this. Practice this, because later on you have to write the tables, scripts for more than 10 tables. You have practice now. See what I'm going to do. Windows R. Go to Notepad. Go here. Okay. So type the same query here. Which query? Create table. Yes. Then what is the table name? Employee. Next what? Its typing here is very easy. Then there. What is the first column name? Employee underscore ID. Then what? Number. Yes, go on telling now. 5. Size. Then next. Don't apply the constraint here. Next what? First name. Then what? Varchar 2. Size 30, comma. Then next. Last name. Varchar 2 30. So you can execute this query now. But save this. Now I'll show you how to execute this. Control yes. Save it. So where will you save now? That's the question. Go to D drive. You know we had created one folder now. Yeah, go there. Eclipse examples. August 2013. Ravi Kumar. SQL examples. So today is the 5th day. So right click. New folder 05. Name it as PKFK. Primary key. Sorry, small case. PKFK constraint. That's the subject note today we are learning. Any folder name you give, that's your wish, but I am giving it as PKFK constraint. In this folder, I'll save my file. And the file will be saved as what you know. You give a good name, employee.sql, and close it in double quotes. Otherwise it will be saved as what? Employee.sql.txt. So you don't want the txt extension, so I'll put the double quotes. So now done. So if you want again, I'll show you here. See here, SQL. 1 second. I'll open the folder and show it to you. SQL examples. Can you see this? Just now I created one folder. In this folder I have saved what? Employee.sql. So this is the place where I am saving this particular file now. So once the table is created, run this script now. How do you execute the script? That's the next question. So I'll show you how to execute the script. Take the location now, where you have saved it. Eclipse examples, August 2013, Ravi Kumar, SQL examples, 5th example. Don't give space in folder names. Notice primary key, foreign key, no space is there. Notice this is the name of the folder, what I have got. See, is there any space between any folder name? Eclipse examples, no. August 2013, no. There is no space in any folder name. Clear? Okay, like that your folder name should be there. So what you do now, take this path, take that path. You know how to take now? Just you go use the Windows Explorer. Now you log into what? You log into SQL prompt. You know how to log into SQL prompt now? Just I'm doing it again here. Windows R CMD. I'm showing you how to run the SQL queries in the notepad now. Just see this. SQL plus, yeah, SQL plus, which schema you want to log in? Ravi Oracle, so you get connected. Sorry, the password. So you are connected now. So now what you do? Use @of. Use what? @of. Open double quotes. Paste that path here. And type slash. What is the file name? employee.sql. Put double quotes. Or best is, I'll tell you one more thing. Don't even type that. I'll remove everything. See how I'll paste. You got the location here, slash. Simply type E, you'll get that. Copy this entire path up till the file, include the file name. Now go to this. So now what you do, you are in the DOS prompt now, SQL prompt now. So @of, double quotes, paste that entire path, close the double quotes, press enter. See this. So it says create table employee, an error is getting created. Why? Table is already there. So what you do? I just now created a table now. So what will you do? First thing in this query, in this thing, what you do? Drop table employee. Write the scripts properly now. Drop table employee. Save. Control S you do, otherwise it will not execute. Save it. Come back. Run the script again. Same thing. Up arrow, press enter. Table drop, table created. See? So tomorrow you will go to some other computer. What will you do? Just take this SQL file and run the script there. Finish now. So that will be the advantage. So now learn to write scripts. And this scripts is very, very essential. In companies also you have to write scripts. Not only here. So I'm teaching you how to write scripts now. For what? Company. This is industry level we are moving now already. So this is done. So once I do it, next what is the query? Alter table. I have to add the foreign key now. Employee, add. Same queries right now. What? Constraint. What? PK underscore, best is copy it. Don't type PK underscore employee underscore ID. Then what? Primary key. Then what? Employee ID. This also again always copy paste, advisable. You will not end up in mistakes. This column name you want to apply for primary key on this column now, copy paste it. So put semicolon, run the script. Table is dropped, table is created, missing right parenthesis. So you will get errors. So what is the error now? Huh? Constraint. On spelling mistake also, it will not execute. It will not execute. So your script should be bang on target, no mistakes. So you should debug now. So again run the script. Table dropped, table created, table altered. Errorless it should come now. Clear? No errors. Flawless it should be. Next, this table anyway it got created. We don't have anything with that. Next, which table should I create? Create table. What next? Phone now. Tell now. What? Look there, phone underscore ID number. Fine. Then next. What next? Better you copy this. Employee ID. Same thing up till here you copy. That's the same column you'll be using here. So what you do? Copy it. paste it. Means column name same, data type same, size same, everything same, ditto to ditto. Means you're going to have two columns, one in employee table, one more in phone table. The name of both the columns is same, data type also should be same, and what? Size also should be same. Are you following now? Same, what you are having here, same column I am creating in phone table also, ditto to ditto. That's why I copied and pasted. Better copy paste, else you'll face errors. Okay, then next, after that, what is the next column you are going to have now? What is the next column? Phone number. Phone underscore number. Data type is what? Generally for phone numbers we use varchar. We don't use a number. I'll tell you why later. Understood? See, number we use for data types which is going to manipulate. Which is going to see, like you're having bank balance. It is subject to modification, no? So that will go for number. Understood? Which is not subject to modification, we go for varchar. Example is phone number. This is never going to modify. So slowly you'll understand. Get adjusted. So the data type for the phone number will be varchar 2. Size I'll give 15, not more than that now, and put semicolon now. See, I'll make one small mistake here. I'm just showing you mistakes. While typing you'll miss one comma here. Here what? Comma. That's the syntax. Anyway, file is saved. I'll try to run the script now. See what happens. Table dropped, table created, first query executed, second query, third query, fourth query, error. What it is telling you? Rest of line ignored, something like this. So you should know how to debug this, and it will come with practice. So better is be accurate in typing your queries. That's why I was insisting you type the queries. Clear? So now see. So now that if I put that comma, you should know, like error only you'll not understand, but still you should be able to what? Debug. Slowly you'll understand. So now see, next. Again I'll run the script. All the four things will run. Sorry, what is that? I didn't save, I think. Save your files. What is that? Rest of line ignored. Create table phone underscore ID, number. Yeah, on space also will give errors like that. So fine. So this is done. Next, for phone also I have to have one phone. Which one? Primary key, no? No, I need two constraints for phone now. One is what? Here also I need primary key for this. This should be primary key. Every table will have one primary key. Apart from that, this will become what? Foreign key. So why are you having primary key in phone table? Because some value should be there. Means which phone number is, means every phone number will have an ID. Every phone number will have an ID. That's why you are having primary key for it. Now why are we having foreign key here? To relate. So this table, this column, a phone ID will be primary key, employee ID will be foreign key. So totally we need two constraints. Understood? So totally we need two constraints. So how will I do it? Just copy paste again, or you can start typing. See, alter. Today type everything. Tomorrow I will do everything. Copy pasting. Table. Which one? Alter table. Phone. Add. Just tell the queries now. Add what? Next. Constraint. What? Primary key. PK underscore what? Copy paste. Understood? Then next what? Primary key. Then what? On which column? Phone ID. Done? So again run the script. But this time you'll get an error. What is the error? Create table phone. That is the error because phone table is already there. So that is why what you have to do. Drop phone also. So now see, go top. All the drops let it be on top. So drop table phone. Done? Drop T. Okay. So drop table phone. Fine. Now I can run the script. Table dropped. Table dropped. So phone ID. Some problem here with phone ID. Let's see this. Constraint peak underscore column in braces I have to put. That's the syntax. So follow it. Missing left parenthesis. Everything fine. Now one more constraint I have to create. Which one? Foreign key. Okay. See how I'll create now. alter table phone, same thing, add what tell fast, yeah, constraint fk underscore what is the, on which column, in phone table, column name is employee underscore id, done, fk underscore employee underscore id, that's the name of the constraint. Then what, foreign key, that's the constraint you want to put, key. Then on which column, employee underscore id. Then next, it references which table, it continues, references employee table, that column represents us, it will refer to employee table. In employee table, which column it will refer, employee id, understood. And one more thing you add, on delete cascade, you'll understand what is that, on delete cascade. So this is how you write your foreign key, this is a way you prepare your foreign key, understood. This is the syntax, so create it. Once you do it, now run the script. Fine, everything is fine. In fact, when you go on executing all those queries, you can go on seeing here also in the object browser. Come refresh, you can see everything here. Employee table, yes. Phone table, yes. Now constraints of employee table, what is it? Only one, pk underscore employee underscore id. Now constraints of phone, what? Phone id, two constraints, primary key and foreign key. Data you click, there is no data in both the tables. Clear? So we have created the tables. Next comes into insertion of which one? Data. You should insert the data. Now I show you, it will never allow invalid data. It will never allow invalid data. Shall I close this once again? We'll see some more theory things now. So once you create two tables like this and relate the tables like this, so next what is going to happen is, notice this table, okay, see the table which has the foreign key, see what is 1, this will be having the primary key. A table which is having 1 will have the primary key. What is many will have the foreign key. One employee can have many phones now, so foreign key will be there in what? Many table. Okay. And one more thing is, clearly understand, this table is called as master table and this is called as slave table. Master table, slave table. Then this is also called as sometimes parent table and this is called as child table. Understood? So these are the terms now. So master table, child table, master table, slave table, or parent table, child table. So it is the slave or child table which will always have what? The foreign key. Okay. Or a table which has many values is going to contain what? Foreign key. This is how it has been designed now. So once this is done, next we have to insert the data. So I'll insert the data also now and I'll show you how neatly you can store all the data. No invalid data at all now. First name will be what? AA, last name A, phone ID be 1, employee ID be 101 and phone number will be 111, like this. You can go on filling the data now. But you have to write queries now. Simply I will not fill now. Okay. But you fill test data and see. You draw tables like this, fill test data. Fill test data means what? Now see, same employee can have what? I'll fill like this. 1111 is having 2 phone numbers. Now one more employee, B, will have what? Only 1 phone number. But you try to store one more phone here with no employee, 109, 999. Is there an employee called as 109? It will not allow you. I'll show you now. So this is what I'm going to execute and show for you. Okay, fine. See now, your script has run. Everything is perfect. First time it will execute. Why? There are no errors. Everything is fine. It is executing. But when I have created the which one? Foreign key. This is the first time I have executed after creating the foreign key. Again I run the script. You will get an error. See there. Actually, where is the error? You know. I run the script here. See, while dropping the employee table, error is occurring. The first line. The reason is unique primary keys in table are referenced by foreign key means when you're dropping the table now, what is happening here? You're dropping the master table first and then you're dropping the child table. It should not happen. Once you refer both the tables, till now they are separate. But once they start getting related with each other, it is always child table which should be dropped first and then master table should be dropped. Till now it was working, but once they are related, so what you should do now? Cut that and put it on the top. Now your script is perfect. Understood now? Now your script is perfect. Now run your script. It will work. So always child table should be dropped first and then master table should be dropped next. Till now it was working because they are not related. But once I related, problems will start now. So fine, tables are there, everything is fine. Next what you have to do now? Insert the records. I'll insert and show it to you now. See this. So what you do, here you open on which one now? I'll click on home. So inserting you don't write scripts. Inserting you do it from here. So always DDL queries are prepared like that. We work with the database in this way now. See this. Go to SQL editor, commands, enter command. So now you execute your queries from here. So how will I insert? See this. Insert into employee. Insert into employee. Okay. What next? Comma, first name, comma, last name. Yeah, that's it. Correct now? Yeah. Values. Yes, you have to give the values. What is the value? 101, comma, single quotes, AAA, comma, single quotes, 2A, fine. This will insert in one table now. See, you have to insert in two tables now. So I write two insert queries because insert will affect what? Only one table. So I write two inserts. Insert into employee underscore ID, first name, last name, like this. Remember, this is the same way you have to write the queries in your application. So if at all your application wants to insert data into two tables, your application has to write what? Two queries now. Understood now? You only told now you wanted multiple tables, sir. Now see multiple tables, how troublesome they are. But it is advantageous. Understood? See this. So practice now, see this. I'll insert. Next query what? Insert into phone. What? Phone ID. Column names you have to specify. I still not executed the query. I'll execute it once again. Next what? Next column name. Employee ID. Next column name is what? Phone number. Then what? Values. Yes. What is the value I have to give? 1, comma, 101. Employee ID, comma what? In single quotes, 111. Correct? Huh? So those are the, yes. Spelling employee ID. Correct? Huh? Okay, let's execute the queries now. So select it, say run. One row is inserted. If you want to go and see now in the object browser, you can go and check data. Click on phone now. Sorry, employee. Refresh. Employee data. Yes, you can see one record. But in phone, still there is no data. So, but I'll execute the query now. And now you can see one row will be inserted in phone also. Go check. So this is in phone. This is in employee. Done? Okay. Now I want to insert one more phone number. That's what we know now. So let's see this. Insert into phone. Phone number is 2, 101. Phone number is what? 111. One extra. That's it. So 2 phone numbers now, or 3 phone numbers. We'll run. One more row inserted. Go there. Check. Refresh. Phone. Notice data. You're having 2 phone numbers. So this is also belonging to 101. This is also belonging to 101. Both the phone numbers are belonging to 101. Fine. Next. If you want to, okay. So one employee is having 2 phone numbers. So now, okay. I'll create one more employee now with what? One phone number. See, so again one more employee ID 102. That's what is the table now? Yeah, 102. Then what is the phone name now? BBB. What is the second name? BB. But he has got one phone, so you have to execute what? You execute this query, only employee will be inserted. See this? In the object browser, go see an employee, it is there. But it's still not your phone number, you are not inserted. So let's insert the phone number now. Yeah, so what is the phone number now? 3. Understood? It belongs to whom now? 102. What is his phone number? 222. Fine. Run. It will insert. No problem. So you come and check data, refresh. So data, yeah, it has inserted now. 1, 2, 3. It goes on inserting. Don't, order will not be same. It will display it in any order. Understood? So 101, 102, 101 like that. It goes on displaying you all the records like that. Clear? So this is how it's getting stored now. Fine. Now let's try to insert invalid data. All this is okay. Okay. Now let's try to insert invalid data. First I'll try to insert into employee table. First I'll try to insert into an employee table what? One duplicate ID. It will not allow me. That shows clearly that primary key is what? Unique. Employee ID, see, CCC. Done. But what is the ID? 102. It will not allow. Because it is primary key by default is what? Unique and not null. It will not allow duplicate value. Apart from that, it will not allow null value also. Right now it was not allowing what? Duplicate. But now I'll show you for what. So primary key by default is what? Not null and unique. Check this. I'm inserting in only 2 columns, employee table. It will not insert. Why? Cannot insert null into Ravi Oracle is a schema dot employee is what? Table name. In that employee ID it cannot insert null value because it's what? Primary key. So by default primary key is always not null and unique by default. But apart from that, what happens? It can relate to other tables. Now the importance you'll understand now. What is why you have to relate? Now you'll understand. Are you clear with this? Okay. This is an employee. Now see, I'll go with phone now. In phone I'll try to insert invalid data. Anyway, let's not bother about this one. ID here. ID primary key here, same here also. Means if I give some 2 again in phone number, it will not allow. Null value it will not allow in phone ID. In phone ID same value and null value will not be allowed. That is okay. So I will not try with that. But look at this. Okay. There is an employee called as 109. I am trying to give a value and I'll give the value as what? 999. This is 4 now. Already 3 is over. Sorry. I'll make it as 4. So there's a 4th phone number I am trying to insert. 4th phone number. ID is what? 109, which is not at all there in the master table. Which is not at all there in the master table. And I am trying to insert a value like called 999. Let's insert this. See what happens. Violated. Parent key not found. It is not there in the parent table. It will not allow invalid data. But don't relate. See, definitely it will insert. Remove the references. Primary key, foreign key, remove it. Keep it as a normal table. That's a separate table. This is a separate table. Okay. Just one thing you remove. Which one? This foreign key. This one thing you remove. Don't relate. That time you notice, it will allow you. You check this out. You remove this and run the script again. Once you run the script, try to insert what? Any value there. Definitely it will allow what? 109. But once you relate, it will not allow invalid data like this. Only if the data is there in the master table, then only it will check and allow it into the child table. Understood now? This is the advantage. So apart from being not null and unique, it sees to that invalid data is not allowed into child table. It helps you in relating. See, what are the advantages of primary key now? It helps you in relating tables. Okay, and it helps in not allowing invalid data into your tables. It checks for data integrity, we say, or data integrity or data sanity. Sanity means cleanliness. But this is the database terminology now. Understood? So primary key and foreign key not only helps you to relate each other, they also help you to maintain data integrity or sanity. Okay, cleanliness will be there. Apart from that, look, one more thing, very wonderful it is. I want to delete the record now. Which record? I want to delete, this is okay. I want to delete 101 record, employee ID 101. See this, you know how you write the query. Delete, what do you write? Tell the query. Delete from employee where employee underscore ID is equal to 101. Correct query? One row deleted. Check what happened. So in employee, it is gone. At the same time in phone, all his records are also gone. This is called as cascading effect. Cascading means what? If you delete a record in the master table, it is deleted in the child table also. This is the advantage if you relate. If you don't relate, now you have to go on deleting all the records now. Every table, every row you have to go on deleting now. So this is called as cascading effect. So I deleted here, automatically it found what? These were related now. This was related to this now. So these two records also got deleted. I deleted in only one table. So this concept is called as cascading effect. Cascading, cascade we say. C-A-S-C-A-D. Do you know what is a cascade? English meaning of cascade? Not database, forget database. I know you don't know database. But at least you know English now. What is cascade? Huh? Cascade means go and check in dictionary. Waterfall. Small waterfall. Real meaning of cascade is small waterfall. Okay, small waterfall. Waterfall means why they have used that word here is, see in small waterfall what happens, any changes you do on the top, it will be reflected in the bottom. Same way, if you delete anything in the master table, it will get deleted in the child table. So that's why I have told what, in the query if you noticed while creating the foreign key, what I told? On delete cascade. Understood? But if I remove on delete cascade, it will not work. It will not work. That I show you tomorrow. If I remove on delete cascade, what will happen? Let's see tomorrow. Understood? So this much means if you delete the master table, record in any master table, it will not delete in child table. If you remove that, you remove on delete cascade. Now you same way you delete now. How? You practice and come. Tomorrow I will be teaching you. Okay, delete, write the same query. Which query? Remove this. Only one thing you remove. On delete cascade. Only these three words you remove. And then run the same query. Which query I run now? This query you run. It will tell no, I cannot delete. There is a record in child table. First delete it in child table, then delete it in master table. Means whether you want the cascading effect or not, you should decide. If you want the cascading effect, then write on delete cascade. If you don't want, fine. But that time what you should do now, explicitly, first you have to delete the record in child table, then you come and delete that record in master table. That's the assignment for you. You do it today. Tomorrow I will be showing you that. If you don't do on delete cascade, first you have to explicitly delete where? Child, both the records you have to delete. How? Delete from phone, where employee ID is equal to 101. Where employee ID is equal to 101. Because if, when you say employee ID is equal to 101, what will happen? Both the records will delete. Then you have to write one more query. Delete from employee where employee ID is equal to 101. So for deleting you have to write two queries. So till now for inserting you have to write two queries. For insert mandatory two queries. Okay, but for delete I was writing one query because cascading effect was there. But if you remove on delete cascade, for delete operation also you have to write two queries. One for child table, one for master table. Okay, but while deleting record in child table also say where employee ID is equal to 102. Understood? Clear this? So this is the basic introduction of primary key and foreign key. This is just the introduction. Okay, so tomorrow we'll go more in depth into primary key and foreign key. So write the scripts, keep it ready because you have to write bigger scripts now. Okay, so now see, this is fine. You have written some queries here now. So this also what you do, copy and paste it where? Into the same, or you will write one thing, close this. Okay, in the same folder, what you do, Microsoft, which one? There is text document queries dot SQL. That is separate, this is separate now. Don't jumble up. Queries dot txt also you can say. Better is you keep it as txt itself. You'll understand because that is script, this is txt file. What do you do? Copy paste all that so that tomorrow you can refer to your own queries. Write comments if you want to. This query is like this query is like this. So in one folder you are having, save it. So now see, in the 5th day, today what did I teach you? Primary key and foreign key. So one is the script you have written and one is the queries you have written for that script. Neatly organized. So tomorrow, if you are having an interview, 1 second you can run the script. 1 second you can check what? The query. 1 second. But if you don't organize, you will have to refer to every book in the world and you will still not get the answer. Understood? So how neatly you organize today, that beneficial it will be for you later stages. Are you clear with all this? Okay, fine. Now coming back to this document. Yes. We are discussing about what? Primary key and foreign key. Shall I clear everything? Any questions you are having for the day? More is there. We are going to see from tomorrow. Okay. Shall I clear everything? Practice these basics and come. So primary key enforces what? Both not null and unique. I showed you that concept. But apart from that, what it does help you to do? This constraint also helps to relate with other tables. Each table can have only one primary key. That we'll discuss. And there are two types of primary key. One is simple primary key and the other is composite primary key. Right now I'm teaching you simple primary key itself. Okay, fine. Foreign key. Foreign key is one. Foreign key in one table points to what? A primary key in another table. A foreign key in one table points to a foreign key in one table points to a primary key in another table. It has to point. Means that column should be existing in other table. I had written now employee ID in what? Phone. Employee ID column was there where? In phone table. But it was related to what? Employee ID to employee table. So it should relate. It is used to establish relationship between two tables. Foreign keys is used for especially relating between two tables. When there are multiple tables in a database, the tables must be related to each other. If they are not related, you know the problem now. They should be related because invalid data, understood, cascading effect, all that will not come. So there are plenty of advantages. You have to relate the two tables. Okay, let's see more. Then for a column to be defined as foreign key, it should be defined as what? Primary key in the table to which it is referring. It should be referring to one particular column in another table. Fine. Now note, this is very simple. Just going on to telling what? Better you give your own constraint name. Here I have told, usually it's a convention to add constraints after creating the table by using what? Alter statement. In company you'll be seeing all this. This is the way they write queries. Understood? This helps to give a custom name to the primary key. Semicolon. Through this name, the key can be modified or deleted. With that name you can delete or modify anything you want, you can do. Otherwise the SQL engine gives what? SQL engine means RDBMS database will give an name like sys underscore so and so. Okay. So now see, primary key and foreign key. Basic rule of database is to avoid what? Null value and redundant value. This is the topic we are discussing. Basic rule of database is to, apart from that, here the story of primary key and foreign key starts. Basic rule of database is to avoid null value and redundant value. Both primary key and foreign key are generally used if you have one-to-many relationship between entities. Now what do you mean by entity? Every row is called as an entity here. In phone number you are having one row, no, that is one entity. Employee is having one row, no, that is one entity. So one employee has many phones, means one employee has many entities. That's the terminology. So primary key and foreign key are generally used if you have one-to-many relationship between entities. Very important statement. Why do you use primary key, foreign key? Okay, then see, this all answers you have to tell. Why do you use primary key and foreign key means these are the list of answers you have to give. Not primary key is which one? Primary key will give 2 in 1. That's your answer. If anybody questions you what is primary key, what will you tell? It is 2 in 1. It is not null plus unique you will tell. Nobody is looking for that stupid answer. Give all these answers now. Okay. So for example, employee to phone. Employee means this is the arrow mark we use. Okay. In fact, there's a space there, but you write it like this. Employee to phone. Okay. Here one employee can have any number of phones ranging from what? 0 to n. I'm just explaining what is one-to-many relationship between entities. In this case, if you try to capture the details in the same table, you may end up putting what? Nulls to some columns, or the other way around. You may not be able to capture the excess data. Understood now? When the range is 0 to n, you may not be able to capture the data, or you may end up putting null values. One employee might have 5 phones. You cannot capture. One employee will not have any phone. Single table problem. Single table problem, you understood now? Say single table problem is this: employee ID, first name, I'll not write last name. Now phone 1, phone 2, then phone 3. If he has one more phone, you can't. So 101 A, phone number 111, 111, 111. But if he has 2 more phones, you can't store. Now B, 102, B, some name. He is not having any phones. So what will happen now? No, this is what we have to avoid. This is what we have to avoid now. Yeah. So that is why what we do, we split it. In this case, you understood the problem now? This is the explanation for that problem. In this case, you cannot try to capture, means you try to capture the details in the same table, you may end up putting nulls to some columns, or the other way around. You may not be able to capture excess data. So that's the wrong design. So that's the reason. Also, maintaining details in a single table will create other problems. Like what? Data redundancy, duplicity of data. Then when there are too many columns, search operations become slow. You have to write search queries now, select. It has to go on searching everywhere. It becomes very slow. Then there will be limitation of columns. Some database will tell, no, you can create only what? For one table, only 1000 columns. 1000 is big number, but there is limitation, no. And more, it will occupy space, storage space. Occupies what? It will occupy more space now, storage space, duplication. And updation is so difficult, you have to go on updating what? Every location. Like this, many problems will come. So that is why, see, these are the problems if you store it in a single table. So that is the reason we start using primary key and foreign key. See, now notes. Advantage of using primary key, it will not allow invalid data in the child table. Yes or no? Then next, it helps in cascading. That is, if we delete a record in the master table, then it will be automatically deleted in the slave or child table. Then next, by using PK and FK, means primary key and foreign key in tables, insert will check for integrity. Means if the data is there, it will allow you to insert. And delete will do cascading. That's the advantage. And for splitting, the thumb rule, what we apply is 1-to-1, store data in same table. 1-to-many, move data to other table. And this comes with experience. You have seen one simple example. Plenty of examples you see automatically will become very clear to you. And tomorrow I start showing you from the UI point of view, this one. From the user interface point of view, I'll start teaching you. Now when it is moved, it becomes important to maintain the data integrity. When it is moved, when you separate it now, it becomes important to maintain the data integrity. The master/parent table should be linked to the child or slave table. Otherwise, invalid data might be stored in the child table. So for doing this, we create primary key on the parent table. And foreign key is created and linked back to the parent table. These two things you do. Understood? Next, by doing so, same thing. When inserting a child entry, it checks if the associated entry is present in the parent table or not. While deleting, corresponding association is checked with the parent and child. And if the parent is deleted, automatically child is deleted. So usually when the tables are split, the one side becomes the master or parent and the many side becomes the slave or child. By following the thumb rule, the master or one side will have primary key and the many or slave side will have the foreign key. Okay. For every primary key in every table, we use sequence generator, which I didn't show you today. Tomorrow I'll show you what is sequence generator, but just write down these 2 points. Okay. So tomorrow I'll be explaining you what is sequence. That's the new introduction, what you'll see tomorrow. Clear? So just write this down. Along with that, you can write what is sequence on 2 lines are there. What is sequence? A sequence is an object in Oracle that is used to generate a number sequence. This can be useful when you need to create a unique number as primary key. Tomorrow I'll discuss about that. Just write it down. Tomorrow we are going to learn more about sequence. Okay. So this is the introduction for primary key and foreign key. Clear? Clear this? Any questions? Any questions? Okay, that's it then.